Moho will show you how. Oh, Moho will show. Bingy bongy, bingy
You ready to craft? It's crafting time.
bingy bongy.
Hello and welcome to the episode all about sleeves. So we've done the hexagons, we've done the chest width extensions, we've done the back width extensions, we've done the bottom extensions, you've put a hood on if you're adding one. So now it's time to make sure that our lower arms don't get too chilly by finishing off our sleeves. Now there's three main options that we're going to deal with in this video. We have got the straight sleeve where you just carry on. We have got the balloon sleeve where we have these massive sleeves down here, didn't we? And we will bring them in. Now on my other cardy, I've gone for a straight sleeve, but I am going to do a little bit of a balloon decrease at the end on that one. So we'll show you that one. So you can decrease, you can do a sort of a baby balloon on a straight sleeve. And then the other one that we're going to show you, which is what I'll do on this one, is a tapered sleeve. Okay, so they all start in the same way. So let's find out what that is. So you're going to want to find the bottom edge of your sleeve. So I still call this bit the armpit because it's as close as we're going to get to it. So we want to be at the opposite side to where your seam is. All right. And we're going to start down here. So this is for any sleeve design, starts like this. So we take our yarn. Now I can see the V's on this side. So to maintain that sort of the turning pattern, I'm going to start working around the inside. So find the hole that is sitting at the bottom of your sleeve. So mine is actually a treble cluster that's sitting at the bottom of my sleeve there. So I'm just going to go one to the side. It won't make too much difference. Now your cardy is getting a bit bulky now as well. So you might just need to stick it all on your knee. So again, so I'm down there. That was my space. Where's my seam there? So I'm going to aim for this space down here as directly opposite from my shoulder seam. And all I do is I put my hook in and I pull it through and I do my usual chain. Okay, so that first one didn't count as anything, so I've got my 2 chain. And I'm going to do 2 more trebles into that space there because we are recreating the pattern or continuing the pattern. So it's very simple, is this. We're just going to go and we're going to do 3 trebles into every space all along until we come to the shoulder seam. So we carry on up here. You might have more if you're not doing in chunky. If you've got a finer yarn, this is why I've done it in chunky. So we're coming up here. So just 3 trebles. You find you get it all twisted up as well when you're doing your sleeves because you're working on a much smaller space and you keep twisting it around. And then every now and then you'll have to like stand up and give it a good shake on your knee because it'll be like a big twisted mass. What fun. Right, so we're still going up here, 3 trebles in every space. Lovely. Carry on in the next one. Oh, I like this duck egg next to the parchment colour. That's nice, isn't it? So we're carrying on up here. So I've got 2 more spaces to go. And then I'm at my shoulder seam. There, 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Now we do not want to go into, let me just twist this the right way so it's a bit less twisty. We don't want to go into both of these spaces here. So we've got a corner space there and we've got a corner space there. Now if I go into both of them, that will increase this. And especially if you're doing tapered sleeves, that is not what you want. So we're going to do like we did down at the bottom when we went across our back seam. We're going to do 1. And this is how we'll be doing the decreases for... all twisted. And this is how we'll be doing the decreases for when you're doing your tapered sleeve as well. So just pay attention. So we do 1 normal treble into that first space. We're going to decrease 2 trebles together over the same space that I was in and the next space that was joined together. Oh, missed it. There. So that was me, decrease 2 together. And then a final 3rd one into that same space there. So I've got the same stitch count across the top. I'm just filling in that little gap that there would be. And then we carry on back down to the end of the round with just 3 trebles in each space. So I've made my way all the way back round my sleeve opening. So I've come down to here. So I'm going to do like I would have normally done, slip stitch into that first one. And if I was doing the straight sleeve or the balloon sleeve, I would just do my 2 chain, turn, 2 more in that one, and carry on and do another round. And then you just keep doing that. So let's have a chat about then the straight sleeve. Right, so you might remember this beauty that I've been doing in a double knit in the Sirdar Stories. So with this, I've done a straight sleeve. So I made it a narrow, it's not a full balloon sleeve. It is following the straight sleeve instructions, but I don't want my opening to be this wide. I do want to bring it in, and I want it to be about that big really, because I want it to just be cuff size. So I want it to cinch it in. So all you would do, as you can see, so my hexie finished there, and I carried on just going round and round and round in even rows until I reached my desired length, or if you're adding a cuff, your desired length minus 5 centimeters. So if you were doing just a big open sleeve like this, you would get to here, and then however big of a cuff you want to do, you take that off your final measurement, and then we add on whatever we fancy. So if I was doing just a straight sleeve, I'd be done. Ready, waiting for the next video of cuffs and edges. What I'm going to do instead is I want to bring this in. I want to do like a little baby balloon, like one of them that you make sausage dogs out of maybe. So what I will show you is how we do that. So we want to, when we've got this, there's various methods of decreasing your sleeve in, but we want it to come in rapidly. So we don't want to taper, we want it to just cinch straight in. So we need to go for quite a dramatic decrease. And the way that we do that, and this is exactly the same to create the balloon sleeve as well, which I will talk about in a moment, is you get to your desired length. So I've measured this, and I've not only measured it, I've tried it on. So there is a difference between having a cardigan or any garment laid flat on a table, measuring it, because you can pull it into shape and you can squish it where you want it to go, or trying it on. So I have tried this on, and I know that that is the full length that I want my sleeves to be. So what I do is I carry on from where I was. So I just want 1 turning chain, and the way that we're going to decrease, because we want this to decrease really, really, really quickly, is we're just going to decrease 2 doubles together all the way around. So it won't give us a lot of length, it will just cinch it in. So we go in 1, in 2, round and through 2, in 1, in 2, round and through 3, 2, 3, who knows, in 1, in 2, round and through whatever's on your hook. And we keep doing that, and you're going to just keep pulling it. After the stitch, give it a nice tight pull, then it's drawing it down and it's drawing it in, and it will be a tiny, tiny sleeve in no time. Now you do need to have a sort of a size in mind. Ideally, you know, you've got your hands fairly handy, so you can just keep checking that you can still get your hand through it. If you make a sleeve where you can't get your hand out the end, that is less than effective. More of a mitten. Right, so I'm just going all the way around, 1, 2, and we just decrease all the way around. So this is the same for the balloon sleeve, and if you're just wanting a sort of a balloon opening or to cinch your cuffs in. And we don't want it to create length, we want it to just create gathering. Now remember, with the balloon sleeve, you work until you reach your desired full length of sleeve. Forget about the cuff bit on this, because you want it to you want to have a bit of extra, so that when you put your cuff on, it pushes it back up, so that you get the effect of the balloon and it's not sort of stretched all the way down your arm. So for the balloon sleeve, you work until you reach the desired length of a full sleeve, even if you're adding a cuff. Then you do this, and then you add your cuff, because you want your extra bit of a few extra rows for your length to compensate for this drawing inness, and to give you a nice big puff. Right, so I've got all the way around now, and it's brought it in. We've got some nice little foofy bits here, but it's still way too big. So I want to decrease that a little bit more. So if I put my hand on there, that's about the size of it. I need to get my hand through it, so I'm looking to decrease probably about, is that the same as that? Probably about 1/4. So what I need to think now is, if I want to decrease by 1/4, I don't just keep going around double, 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 because that would give me a gather all in one area and the rest would still be spread out. So if I want to decrease it by 1/4, that means every 4th stitch needs to be a decrease. So I would go 1 normal, 1 normal, and then the third and the fourth decrease together. If you were doing it on, if you wanted it to be like half as big, you would just carry on doing double, 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 decrease, double, decrease, double all the way around. If it was about a third too big, you would go 1 and then a decrease, 1 and a decrease. So you just have to have a play with this. It depends on your attention, it depends on the size of your hands, it depends on the yarn you're using. It's a lot of variables at play. So I'm going to go normal, normal, decrease, normal, normal, decrease. I'm also going to lose a yarn chicken, aren't I? Damn it, yarn chicken. Right, so we're going to go normal, normal, decrease. And normal, normal, decrease. So I'll join my new yarn now. So when I join a yarn, as ever, get your last 2 loops of your stitch on your hook. Oh, we've got a bit here. Let's use that bit. And then lace yourself up, no slip knots or anything, and pull it through. So that was normal. I'm going to work over my tails as well to start sewing them in. Normal, decrease 2 together. Normal, normal, bin them ends off, they're getting annoying, and decrease 2 together. So I'll carry on doing that all the way around the round and we'll see where that gets us to. Right, so after that round of doing normal, normal, decrease, I am happy with my cuff size. I can get my hand in there quite nice and comfortably, but it's not, if I do a cuff about that big, it's not going to slide over my hands and I'm not going to lose my puffy sleeviness. All right, so if you're doing the balloon sleeve or you wanted to bring in a straight sleeve, that is how you do it. Leave that there then, and then in the next video, I'll be showing you cuffs and edges. All right, so that is balloon and straight sleeve done. Let's get rid of these. Right, so we're back with our chunky monkey. Oh, I did forget to say earlier, actually, what you need to do is whatever you do to one sleeve, you need to make a note of it so you can do it exactly the same to the other sleeve so that your arms match. If you've got odd arms, you will look a little bit weird. Right, so with the tapered sleeve, so we've got this little bit here. You've probably not got that much length because you're working to your desired sleeve width, and sleeves do tend to start off a little bit straight, so we're not worried that we've not tapered just yet. So we're going to start the taper. Now there are, let's do my maths, 6 rows in this decreasing pattern, and we're going to decrease on every first and fourth row. There's 2 decreases, and the reason that there's 2 is because we offset them a little bit. If you just keep doing the same decrease, the same decrease row, like so say you decrease the first 2 clusters together, what will happen to your seam is it will wander up your arm. We want your seam to just carry on along here. It's not too noticeable if you're using a plain yarn, although you will see it, but if you've got a variegated yarn, that variegation where you turn and change will slide up your sleeve. So it's important that we do this decrease variation. And all it means is that you just need to keep a little tally by you so you know what you're doing. I would write down like decrease 1 and then normal, normal, and then decrease 2, normal, normal, so you'll know which decrease you're on. Right, so there's 2 ways that we're going to decrease this. We're either going to decrease it over the first 2 spaces or over the first and the last space. And we need to alternate those so that, like I said, we get our seam lying nice and straight along the bottom of our sleeve. So the first one, the first row, so you do your first normal row, your first even row, and then we're going to go straight into the decrease. So what the instructions are, so we do our chain and then we totally skip that space because we'll be doing our decrease over these 2 spaces here. So we just go straight in and we're going to do 3 trebles all the way around until we get to that penultimate, or until the final space before the one where we started in. So I'll not make you watch that. I'll see you back at the end. So we want 3 trebles in each space all the way around except for in the last space. Oh, I will say, when you come to this bit, make sure you don't do an extra cluster in the middle there. So this is this decrease where we went across the seam. So we're doing 3 trebles in there and then we skip those 3 trebles and we're going in the space afterwards. We don't want to put an extra cluster in there. Otherwise we would be increasing, and you'll be increasing on one side and decreasing on the other, so that is staying the same. Right, so I'm back to my final space and then the space where I started in. So I'm going to do the decrease exactly like I did in when I was doing my back seam, when I've done my shoulder seams, wherever I've been working across a seam, but we've not got a seam to work over here. We just want to decrease 2 clusters into one. So we start by doing a normal treble into the first one. We're then going to decrease 2 together over this space, so that's in, and then in the next one where your turning chain came out of, and in there. Now we don't need that final third one because that turning chain is going to count as it. So I'm going to slip stitch into there. So that is my first, let's just give it a whiz round and you can start to see it coming in. That's my first tapered sleeve decrease row there. So after every time I've done a decrease row, I then have to do 2 even rounds. So that is just where we're doing 3 trebles into every space. So we'll have a quick look at that and then I will do that. So we start with our 1, 2 and turn, always turning. And so we're going to be starting in this space. Now again, don't work into this space between the decreases. That is sitting there so it will sit nice and flat, but we don't want to go into that because then that would totally negate our decrease. So we're starting in this space where we came out of there and we do our 3, 1, 2 and 3. Skip the next 3 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, and we're going, that is our next space, not that little gap between them. That was our decrease. Just keep your eye out for that because it will be very frustrating if you're putting all the effort into creating the decreases but then adding an increase in and not getting any narrower of the sleeve. Right, so this is an even round, so that's all the way around, just 3 trebles into each space. This is even round number 1, and then we do another. So I'll see you when I've done 2 even rounds and I'm ready for the next decrease. Right, so I've done my first row, I've got my decrease row, and then I've got an even row and an even row. So I'm ready for the next decrease. So this is how the other style of decrease looks. So we've decreased at the end. So this row, we know we're going to be decreasing at the beginning. So we do exactly the same, but at the opposite side. So I've got my 2 chains, so that's going to count as my first treble. So I do my decrease over this space, so round and through 2, and then wrap in the next space, back there, round and through 2, round and through 3. Lovely. And then round and through the next one there. Some people put like a treble in the middle there just to sort of disguise this hole, but I think you will be all right at not going into it. And then what we do is we go all the way around, 3 trebles into each space. So I'll get round there and then we'll see what we do next. Right, so I've got all the way around and I'm back at my beginning bit here. So do be careful not to, because of this decrease is sort of sits at such an angle, it is easy to sometimes work up and carry on going in a spiral. So you might want to pop a stitch marker in that first turning chain there, just to remind you that that is the end of the round. So we do our slip stitch and let's have a look at how that's looking now. So we're coming in quite nicely here. Now, I'm not sure of the physics or the maths or whatever it is that works it out. It's a universal truth, maybe. But whatever yarn you are using, this decreasing every third row has seemed to bring it in the right amount for me. So unless you've got giant hands and really short arms or really long arms and tiny hands, so if you're a T-Rex or an octopus, this might not work. But this does seem to come down to a nice wrist size with the desired length of these decreases. If you do need to add more decreases in, I would recommend you just repeat it at the other side. So I would decrease on at the top end. Don't try and decrease every row because it will just it'll come in super tight, and it'll be sort of very a steep decrease, kind of like that, and it will not sit right. So if you do want to add an extra decrease in, I would put one at the top. You'll not see it because you can barely see that. I just don't, if somebody to look at that. And also I've got to remember, most clothing has seams in. And so if we do have a visible seam, it's not the most terrible thing because, I can see seams on everything I'm wearing right now. So that was my decrease row, second version of decrease row. So then I would do 2 even rows, and then I'd go back to the one where I did the decrease at the end of the row, 2 even rows, the one with the decrease at the beginning of the row. So it's a good idea, like I said, just to keep a tally, and also the tally will allow you to see how many repeats of the decrease pattern you did. So I think that's it for all of the sleeve variations that we have got going on. The next video will be cuffs, edges, and then we've just got pockets and you're done. Which is good because, you know, this summer weather is not really improving. I was thinking, oh, they'll be all nice and done, ready for like August and going on your holidays and taking you with your evenings. But actually, we'll probably be taking duffel coats and just be wearing these all the time. Right, thanks for watching. Give us a shout if you've got any questions or you need any help with anything. And if not, I will see you very soon for cuffs and edges. Woo, exciting. Bye-bye.
It's crafting time again. What's that? You don't know how to craft? Well, it's simple. You just let Moho